Hiya and welcome to Quite the Ordinary podcast with Moonlight and West. I am your host Jasmine Wissart, and today I am joined by an all-rounded body of art. And you know, I love how you talk about Portsmouth. I love how you big it up and you show appreciation, respect and love to that place, and true say it's the place that you grew up. What is the importance of putting that place on the map to you?
I think because it's unique, like it's me at the end of the day, it's a part of me. Whether I like it or not, I've lived there my whole life, you know, and Portsmouth is interesting because it's such a small place, like everyone knows everyone. So when you're doing something like music, it's like, damn, that guy I went to school with is doing music now, like, or this girl here, she's on TV here or something, like, but we all just support each other, which is great. So I think it's important to just show the place that I came up homage. Like, even if I moved away to a different country tomorrow, that's still where I'm from, you know.
Hiya and welcome to Quite the Ordinary podcast with Moonlight and West. I am your host Jasmine Wissart, and today I am joined by an all-rounded body of art, an artist, a musician, going by the name of TIWO. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, TIWO. Thank you so much for coming on to Quite the Ordinary with Moonlight and West. TIWO, I'd like to start at the very beginning of the journey, and I would love for you to introduce yourself to the people that don't know you yet and tell them where it started.
Okay, cool. So my name is TIWO. I'm from Portsmouth, born in Malawi, but I've been a Portsmouth boy most of my life. Now living in London, Southwest.
Jeez.
And I guess I've kind of always done music. Music has always been my thing. Like, since I was young, my parents put me into guitar lessons in year 2. So then from there, that kind of just transpired, and I taught myself more instruments. That kind of changed into teaching myself the drums, playing it in church and so on. And I guess I've kind of always had quite a musical family. So music was just always a part of us. Like on Christmas, when the adults table and the kids table, we wouldn't have a kids table. We'd just be in the garage, drum kit, like having a little family band or rap battles or so on. But essentially, music has just always kind of been a part of me, and I just kind of changed that into actually producing my own things and make my own songs.
You speak about growing up within a creative musical family environment. What is it like to, as a young child, be able to thrive and evolve into a musician from being surrounded by other creative people such as your cousins? What was it like putting on shows on Christmas or during the year and just being musically confident from a young age?
You know what? I didn't even see it like that at the time.
Really?
I think it was just like fun for us. Like we didn't plan to do these shows or so on. It's just that's how we like to spend our time. That's how we like to kind of just chill, basically. But yeah, it's definitely inspiring, and it definitely plays a big part in my music now. Back then, just my cousins were always DJing or something. It was always just something creative going on, which kind of just pushes me now, and it's kind of an advantage that I think I have over other musicians, for example.
True.
Purely because music is just a part of me and my household and my family. It's just it's just normal.
Did you ever think of creating a band with your cousins?
Yeah, when we were young, I definitely thought that's where it would go. But as we've gotten older, it's kind of just like, when we look back, we're like, that's so cringy. Like, why do you do that stuff? But yeah, we used to do it all the time. Like, but even when they hear this, they'll probably be like, why is he saying this? But like, yeah, man, I used to think maybe that's where it would go and just be a band and stuff. But music kind of changed. Like, in general, like, you don't see a lot of bands come out nowadays and things like that.
True.
But yeah, man, maybe we can still start a band if they're up for it on there, you know.
I think so. I think that would be nice. Connect to your roots.
Yeah, maybe so, man.
And TIWO, if I'm correct, some of the first places other than the house where you started live performing or even just playing an instrument was at church, for example.
Yeah.
What was it like building your confidence within such a holy environment?
Yeah, it was definitely different. And I think because obviously I started in youth church, so my pastors, they knew that I didn't have any drum lessons and so on. They kind of took a chance on me. Wow. But it was definitely good to be around other musicians other people of the same faith as well that could kind of guide me and teach me so many things. I really did learn a lot musically in church, not just on drums, other instruments, and just, for example, I used to like look at the sound team and see what they're doing and how they're mixing my things and stuff. So when it kind of got to the future and me making my own stuff, I had such a great understanding of music and great understanding of how to mix and how to do all these different things. It was great, to be honest with you, man.
Were you consciously going to the mixers and seeing how they were mixing your thing with the intention of knowing that you're going to eventually implement that into your musical career? Or was it just you had a passion and you just wanted to learn?
No, yeah, it was really just an interest, I think.
Wow.
Like back then I wasn't thinking so far about the future. I'm very much a type of person that's like, let's just deal with the now, you know?
Yeah.
Back then I was just like, oh, so how are you doing that? Like how come the snare sounds like this when I hit it? And how come when somebody else is mixing it, it sounds a little different and so on? And obviously, we used to, like, as church went on, the technology got a bit better and stuff. So when you have like the pack and you can hear it in your in-ears, like each different drum. So then I just figured out how to kind of like mix instruments and stuff that way. Yeah. So then when it came to my own music in the future, I had an understanding of frequencies and how to kind of just know what it should kind of sound like, you know? But yeah, it wasn't an intention. It just transpired, I guess, like that.
The terminology you're using here, frequency.
Yeah, I know.
You're giving me producer vibes, TIWO. Is that what I'm hearing?
Nah, I'm not a producer by a mile, but I think I understand music a lot, which is definitely helped on this journey, man. Like 100%.
Do you help with the producing bits, or do you leave that solely to the producer?
I think I kind of like, I always know how I want it to sound in my head, and because I'm not a producer, I don't always know the right things to say and the right way to say it, but I know how I want it to sound. So like my engineer will tell you, like, I'll be like, no, I want it to sound like I'm underwater a little bit. But right now I sound like I'm here, but I want it to sound here. Like I might not have the terminology, but like it works, you know. He has the skills. Big up Winter Road Studios, by the way. He has the skills. My boy Zach has the skills. And I just know how I want it to sound, and then we kind of just like work together in that sense. Yeah.
And for them to be able to bring your vision to life, that requires having a strong relationship. They really got to understand you, not just as a person, but obviously as an artist. They need to be able to see the vision.
Yeah.
How are you able to establish a relationship with your producers and engineers?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely important to have a relationship. Mine kind of came naturally as well. I think the first time me and my friend went to the studio, we were like 17 years old and we had no idea what we were doing. Literally, we just went in there and I remember showing him beats and stuff I made on my laptop and he was like, this is not mixed at all. Like,
oh no.
And I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. But over the years, I've always gone to him anyway, like regardless if I record in my room or if I record in the studio, like we kind of just built that relationship over time. So he now knows what to expect. He kind of knows my sound and so on. And I've dealt with other producers and stuff as well, and it's just about showing them kind of how you want to produce it, how you want to make it, and they'll understand if they're the right producer for you, basically. Not everyone is, and you can meet producers that might not figure out your sound, but you'll know that as time goes on, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And in terms of actually creating a song, what is the very first step of that?
For me, it's always the beat or like the music, or I don't know, when I get sent beats or if I make it myself or whatever, it's just when it sounds a certain way, like my head just starts writing instantly. Like I'm just like, yeah, this is the one. Let's get in the booth now. Like let's just like play around with it, sort of thing. Yeah, it's always the beat, and then the lyrics kind of just come with it, man.
You're in the flow of it.
Yeah, like flow state kind of thing.
And dependent of the beat, would that influence what kind of lyrics you're writing to that? Like, for example, if it's a slower beat, you might be thinking something that's a little bit more deeper. If it's a fast, jumpy beat, then maybe it's something like a summer fun, upbeat, joyful, playful. Does the beat really influence the kind of emotions that are reflected on this track?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you hear a beat and you'll know this is a summer beat. I want to talk flexi. I want to talk about the Gallagher and whatnot. But like, you might hear another slow R&B beat and that makes you want to just sing instead of rap, for example, or just talk a bit more like sentimental almost, you know? Like the beat definitely makes a theme. I never really know what type of song I'm writing until I'm there doing it, you know?
Wow.
Like, yeah.
And TIWO, you said sing or rap.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can do it both.
Yeah, something like that.
You can do it both.
Like that.
Where did you start? Was it starting off rapping and then you eased into the singing, or was it singing first and then easing into rapping? Because you did mention when you were younger, you were going into freestyle rap battles with your cousins.
Yeah. No, rap. It was definitely always rap. I think there was a period when I was a kid I wanted to be a rock star and stuff, but my dad shut that down real quick. He shut that down.
He said no.
Yeah, he said rock star. What? So what are we talking about? But no, rap. It was definitely always rap. Like I said, me and my cousins we used to rap battle, like freestyle off the top. Even when I was in like year 6, I wrote a whole freestyle rap CD, produced the whole thing. Every single track is freestyled. Like that's why when you listen to it, some of it just sounds like gibberish. Literally, like when I hear back, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did this. But yeah, it was definitely rap. I didn't really want to sing. Like it just I just figured out at some point, oh dang, like I could actually sing this, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like my friends were just straight rapping, I could actually kind of find pitches and I could understand musically like how to sing basically. And I think the combination of both is kind of what gave me an advantage, especially in my city. Like there's a lot of rappers, but there's not too many like singers and rappers and just all-round musicians, to be honest.
Do you think once you started to learn how to sing and you felt confident in it, did that affect the way that you rapped? Because I can sense that there's like a melodic element of rapping that you have, especially in your most recent songs. So that's why I asked, do you think the singing influenced that?
Yeah, definitely. I think the melodic thing is kind of my niche, you know. I can find different melodies and I can find different kind of pockets in that sense. Like I could just rap straight, but I think finding that melody, that uniqueness kind of makes me unique, you know, the fact that I can find those pockets.
Yeah, most definitely. And we mentioned about talking performing live as a child, but obviously now we're grown and you've been live performing. You've been doing it.
Yeah, I've been doing
And matter of fact, at one of your live performances, the one that you did for FHP, there was a lovely artist going by the name of Sam OD, which now actually features on your latest track, Nothing Stays the Same.
It does indeed. Yeah.
What is it like having a fellow artist supporting you in the crowd?
You know what it is? Sam, for example, he's been with me in this whole music journey. Like we kind of all started it together, you know?
Wow.
Whereas I did music from when I was a kid, like all the time. But as I got older and I met individuals that kind of just matched the vision, you know, had similar dreams to me, similar ideals. And Sam was somebody that you probably would have never thought he'd ever do music. And then when we started kind of releasing and stuff, he was like, oh yeah, I could get into that. And I remember when I had a setup in my uni room, he came from Portsmouth to Guildford just to record and stuff.
Wow.
So we kind of just figured out this whole music journey kind of together, man, really and truly. And it's great when he has shows, I'll support him. I'll even play drums for him and stuff. He'll come to my shows and so on. But yeah, we're all just figuring it out together, man, really and truly. But yeah, we're in the song, like, so when I brought him on for Nothing Stays the Same, I knew I wanted Sam on it from time because of the type of artist he is. I knew he writes in a way that's kind of like very different to other people. He's very good at insightful writing, which sometimes I hear things he's saying, I'm like, dang, like, how did you do that? You know? I'm not so good at that aspect, which is why I said, let me get him on this song and we have best of both worlds sort of thing. But yeah, it's definitely cool to just come up with my brothers, man. Literally, that's just the way it is.
That's so beautiful to hear. And I love that you've got community within this game, because I feel like it can feel very isolating at times as an artist. Like it's very much you, your thoughts, your lyrics and the beat. Sometimes that's all it can feel like. How do you really go about finding a community within the game?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to have community. Portsmouth's a bit of a weird one because it's a small city. So community naturally built itself. Like there was a period of time where there was so many shows, so many promoters coming to Portsmouth and putting on like club appearances and shows and so on. And we all just kind of met each other that way. Like for example, there's a couple of artists from my city called Dockham and Malone. When I was in college, before I even got into the studio, like I was listening to these guys like, dang, how are these guys doing this stuff, you know? And now like when we go to these events, we do these shows together in Portsmouth, I'm performing alongside them, you know? And it's like, it's just crazy like when you look at how things kind of change. But yeah, Portsmouth is a great music community, and I think it's really important to find people that have that similar vibe to you, come from the same place as you, and just understand the dream, innit? We're all, at the end of the day, we're all trying to achieve something. Whether it's the same end goal or not, we all understand, you know?
You all are destined for greatness
and
are
of course.
Willing and wanting and will achieve it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that you found that, especially in a town such as Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Now you're obviously London-based. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
What would you say are the biggest comparisons between being a musician in London and in Portsmouth?
I think in London you can compare yourself a lot more because there's a lot of artists in London. The city is big. Like I go to all these events and like networking events especially, and everyone's trying to do the same thing. Everyone's trying to talk to the guys on the panel. Everyone's trying to like talk to each other. Let me get your deets. Oh, let's hop in studio. Da, da. I'm in so many group chats like with so many musicians,
Really?
and it's like we're all trying to do the same thing. But London, you definitely like feel that comparison sort of thing, and you kind of have to get out of that mindset because comparison is the thief of joy, really.
It's true.
But in
Great
Portsmouth, yeah, in Portsmouth, like I never really compare as much because I feel like we're all in that kind of same boat. But in London, it definitely feels like a bit of a competition push. But at the same time, it definitely made me realize like I'm not in competition with anyone, just myself. Yeah.
Do you know what? I was actually about to ask you, but you beautifully followed up. I was going to ask you, do you feel that competition, and do you feel like you need to kind of separate yourself from the crowd? Or as you said, are you just aware that you are your own individual person and you are living your own life and you're going to do whatever makes you happy?
You know, I think I used to think of it like that. Like, I think when everyone starts music, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but you're like, yeah, I need to blow, I need to be different, I need to be this next big thing in the UK, whatnot. But when I think about it now, as I get older as well, that makes me sound so old. I'm not. But, like, I don't make music for anybody else. Like, I make music for myself, and I hope that people can relate to certain things that I'm writing about and singing about, or they can vibe to it or whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's my own race, you know. I think that everybody has a gift, and music, I do believe it's my gift, you know. So why would I discredit that or compare that to anybody else? It's my race, my journey, you know.
That was so beautiful. TIWO, that was so lovely. I literally feel like I was watching you. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I've actually got a job to do. I need to ask you the next question. But I just felt so present in that moment. Because that was beautifully worded. You are on your own journey, achieving your own goals, living your own life. And amen to that, honestly. Thank you for sharing that.
Good, man.
That's inspiring. Wow. Sorry, give me a second to recollect myself. TIWO, what are you've performed plenty. You've performed plenty.
Yeah.
I'd love to know, what is a standout moment for you when you are performing on stage?
You know, I think, so one show that comes to mind is we did a show in a place called the Emporium in Portsmouth. It's quite a small venue, but we had like free reign for this show. Well, one of my friends was the promoter on it, so he kind of gave us, have who you want on the lineup, invite who you want, whatever, have the stage, have the instruments, whatever.
Incredible.
So we put an amazing lineup together of me and basically all of my friends. Like, it was essentially, I ended up headlining it with some friends of mine. And obviously the crowd was a very Portsmouth-based crowd. We managed to sell out the whole like building, literally. And it's just when people are singing back your own lyrics to you, and like, it's the craziest thing because you're like, dang, like, a year ago, I was in my room just rapping this on my phone, on my notes, whatever. And now these guys are like singing my lyrics back to me. You know how crazy that is? And it makes you think of like the possibilities, because that's just like 200 people, 100 people of my friends, my city. But imagine now when it goes further than that, and it's like people in different countries, people in different areas singing your own lyrics back to you. It's crazy, man.
Wow, what an uplifting feeling.
Yeah,
what an uplifting feeling. And part of that live performance, do you play any instruments whilst you're performing, or is it just pure rapping, pure singing?
So far, I haven't actually played any instruments on stage. I can, but I haven't just incorporated that. So that's kind of one of the reasons I haven't performed in a little while, because next time I do a show, I do want it to kind of be an experience. I do want to have a band. I do want to show the musician side, not just the rapper, quote unquote, you know? Like, haven't done it yet, but I definitely want to.
Because that's exactly what you are, musician. And not just one instrument, but two.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How did you go about learning those instruments?
So yeah, as I said, guitar, I had lessons when I was young. And I kind of just, that was classical lessons. So I was just learning, reading sheet music, that kind of thing. As I got out of primary school and stuff, and I was into secondary, I just wanted to learn chords. I wanted to be able to play anything, essentially. So I kind of just taught myself that. YouTube, guitar tabs are the easiest thing in the world, so you kind of just pick up like that. With drums, I used to just, because I never had a drum kit, my cousins did though, so I'd get to practice that one time every time I visit my cousins, and I'd just lock myself away and just be playing drums or recording or something musical, basically. And I used to watch, like, even before church, whenever I was practicing, I couldn't really practice, so I used to just watch drum covers and like kind of memorize the beats and memorize how the drummers were doing it, and then kind of just find that rhythm myself. And then that translated from those instruments to learn like certain songs on the keyboard, or like when I learned the guitar, I could then learn the bass and so on. I just translate that, basically.
Transferring those skills from one thing to another.
Literally.
Incredible. And in terms of actually having your songs out there for us to listen to. Your song has been featured on BBC Introducing, which I think is a huge achievement. Huge achievement. Big congratulations. What was it like listening back to your song that's being played on such a huge platform?
It was crazy, to be honest. I remember, I think I even kind of forgot it was on that day. I was like, oh, wait. And then I turned on the radio and it's me. The first track on that show was my song and
The
stuff.
first track?
Yeah, and then they kept like replaying it like for a couple of weeks and stuff. And I was like, dang, like, I'm actually on the radio. It's surreal, man. And especially like when you have friends and family listening to it. And it's like, when I was a kid, if you told younger me that I would be playing on the radio, like he'd look at you like, what are you talking about? You know? But here it is, man. It's reality.
And as a child, actually, did you envision yourself being like this musician that was performing on stage, having your songs featured on the radio? Or was it very much just like a in the present moment, I'm enjoying it and we'll see what happens?
As a kid, I think I've always had big dreams. And I think I always describe myself as a dreamer. So I was always like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to da. As I've got older, the same things don't really matter.
Yes.
But I knew that music had to be a part of that, you know? Like, music's something that it's just kind of a part of me. If I don't do music, I feel like I'm not being myself, kind of.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And you've got a track called 90s Love.
I do indeed.
I'd love to know whether you're inspired by the 90s music, however.
Okay. You know, 90s music, I think 90s music's amazing. I think I listen to so much, like such a broad range of music, right? But with 90s Love, that was just about kind of, you know, when you think about that kind of old school, that romance, that old Will and Jada, you know, not the entire, the old Will and Jada.
Before the slap.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about that type of, that love and basketball type thing, you know? That's kind of why I went that route with that song, because when you kind of look at this generation and stuff, you don't think 90s love, you think situationship, you think all that madness.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, man. But yeah, 90s music, old school music, I think it literally makes everything that we listen to today, like, it's even like the way that they approach songs, and like no one even has bridges in music anymore, you know?
It's crazy.
It's just crazy, yeah. But all
Straight
of
to
that
the
stuff,
chorus.
yeah, it's mad. But all of that stuff like affects all the music today that I make and that every single artist we listen to today makes. That's why sampling is there, literally.
It's true. And okay, so you're influenced by the 90s music, but are there any artists that have influenced you and the way that you create music?
Yeah, I think I could be here for years talking about that, man. Like, I think some of my biggest inspirations.
We got time.
Yeah. Actually, one of my close friends, his name's Chin. He's from East London. The way that he writes music is crazy. That inspires me amazingly. And obviously, I met him when I was like 17 years old. So that was before I'd even released my first song. And I learned a lot through that. But even to this day, he's still writing amazing music, and that inspires me. On a bigger scale, people from the UK, maybe like Stormzy, and you see how far he come and how far his writing has also come.
Yeah.
Like the first album was just straight grime and stuff, and now it's like introspection and like that kind of gospel side of it is amazing as well. Yeah.
Complete evolution.
Yeah, literally. But then there's so many artists, like, for example, LMA, for example, on the R&B side. I think she's amazing. I think she's so sick.
Agreed.
Yeah, there's so many artists. I could literally go on forever. And then there's like so many underground artists coming up nowadays as well, especially on TikTok. You see like every single day, like for example, Shy Cartier. I don't know if you know her. She's sick. She's so sick, man. Who else is hitting right now? Leo Stays Trill, he's hitting. I don't know, a guy called Ye Mully. Like all these guys come up and it's just like, I need to work harder, man. Every time I see these guys, I'm like, I need to work harder, literally. But it's sick, man.
What part of what that artist is doing inspires you the most?
You know, I just think it's about how everyone has their own kind of process. And they manage to put that process into words and then put it onto a sheet of paper and then put it onto a song for other people to experience. Like, have you ever had it when you listen to a song and you genuinely feel moved by the song, or you're like, dang, like, that's kind of, that's crazy. And everyone has just managed to put their own like experiences, emotions, whatnot into their tracks and make people feel something. I think that is the most inspiring thing with music in general, man.
And is that something that you tried to do on one of your first tracks, Blessed? Yeah,
definitely. I don't think I thought about it as much in the time, but Blessed was just an uplifting track. I was like, this is my first track. I want to talk about me. I want to talk about God. I want to talk about how I am blessed to even be able to do this. And
true.
Yeah, man, that's literally what the song is about.
That was literally your first track that came out officially
Yeah.
to us on the public. I know that you probably have many more songs before that that haven't been shared. Matter of fact, that exclusive CD that you made as a kid, Quite the Ordinary podcast with Moonlight and West. We want that. But what was it like releasing your first song out into the world? Was there a sense of nervousness, pride, anxiety?
It was definitely nervousness. It was a long process even putting the song together. Obviously, it was my first time going through mixing and mastering and understanding how a song is released and how to promote it, how to make artwork, so on and so on. Because there's a lot that you don't think about when it comes to music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember, I think I released it on a Sunday as well. That's such a random day to release a song as well, but it fit the theme, you know, because the song was blessed and stuff. And I remember I released it at like 8 p.m. and I just put on Instagram like, yep, song out now. And I just put my phone down. I didn't want to look at nothing. I didn't want to see no emails, anything, like no messages. And I kind of just let the song do its thing.
Yeah.
And then when I like got feedback and people tell me, like to this day, like I love that song. I love what you're talking about. And then in the same year of one song, I'm people's #1 artist and stuff. It was just crazy. So yeah, it all worked out, man.
Crazy. Oh my, that must have been such a surreal moment to see #1 artist.
Yeah, off one song. I remember being like, dang, like me, somebody's #1 artist. Yeah, man, it's crazy. But here we are.
What an elevating feeling. And TIWO, from Bandit to 90s Love, there was like a year period where you were just taking time off to work. I'd love to know what kind of development happened within that year that you were able to implement into yourself as an artist.
You know what? I think it's really important for creatives to take a break sometimes. It's very easy to get in a block or get overworked and just kind of forget why you do things sometimes.
It's true.
I think in that year, I wanted to kind of rebrand first of all and take my writing a bit further. Even like this past year as well, just take my writing a bit different. Like, why do I make these songs? Why do I release? Who am I releasing for? What am I releasing for? I kind of wanted to check all of that almost. Just talk to other artists, talk to other people. And yeah, I think the time was really important to position myself where I am now and understand why I do this at the end of the day. And it's not really for anyone else except myself, man.
Wow. Yeah. How did that realization come around? Like, were there certain activities you were doing, such as meditation? Were you running? Were you just around your family or just good people in general?
No, I think it's just being around my people, man. Obviously, the usual stuff, just self-improvement. Like, so when you go to the gym and you write a lot more music, or you just spend time with yourself, reading a lot more as well, and just understanding a lot more about life. And yeah, I think that kind of just translated into my music, man. So for example, with Nothing Stays the Same, that song is a bit more real. I wanted to be a bit realer with it, a bit more vulnerable with it. And I think a lot of the music that I have coming is a bit more vulnerable, but it's still vibey, you know? And that all came from understanding myself and what I want to do.
Vulnerable and vibey. I like that kind of... that needs to be a new genre. Vulnerable and vibey. TIWO, moving forward, what are your aspirations for the future?
Yeah, I think my aspirations are, first of all, to release a lot more. Music is such a process, and I can be a perfectionist a lot. So one thing that I've definitely aimed to not do anymore is be a perfectionist. But in order to do that, I just have to be accountable with my people around me. So every time I'm in the studio and stuff, I'm sending them songs like, I went to the studio, I recorded this, what do you think? I'm making those tweaks. And sometimes I'm like, no, I need to change this. They're like, no, you don't. Why are you changing it? It sounds amazing. I'm like, no, I need to change it. But yeah, definitely release a lot more music, do a lot more shows, and kind of just put myself out there a lot more, you know? I feel like people don't really know TIWO yet, unless they know me personally. And like, people from Portsmouth know me, but the world should know through my music and through my content who I am, you know?
And they will.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Nothing Stays the Same, because as you mentioned, like, it's a track where you really start to like open up and be vulnerable as an artist. What is it like putting in your emotions into a song like that and actually having to feel vulnerable? Do you feel like you owe it to the people that are listening or to yourself?
It's scary. Don't get twisted. It's scary. I think sometimes you can write a song and you're in your head about, what's this person going to think when they hear it? Or, dang, how's this going to hear it? When the man them hear that, how are they going to think about it? But at the same time, I think when I put my emotions into it, it's a release, you know? Everyone has their release. Some people journal, some people run and whatnot. But I think music is just a release of everything. And there's certain things, once you put them on that page, once you put them on that microphone, like, you've dealt with it, you know? And then people hear it, and that's just it's just a piece of the puzzle, a piece of my story that's out there for people to listen to. And I like that. It's cool.
It is. And your songwriting process, what does that consist of? Are you someone that writes the bridge, then the chorus? Or do you just get stuck into it and you just write down and put it together later?
Yeah, it's definitely a stuck into it kind of thing. Because some songs might start just straight spitting, freestyling and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's hard. Let me write that down. Whatnot. Some songs, the hook comes to me straight away, and then I build off the hook. Some songs I still probably have to this day. There's only a hook there, or there's only verses there. There's no hook and stuff. Some songs will come together in one day. Some will take time. So the process definitely changes, but it's kind of the process happens when it happens. Yeah.
And what inspires you most as an artist?
I think just the process of creation. I think creation is kind of beautiful, man, when you think about it, because it's like, at the end of the day, we are all here, and what can we do other than create? Like, life is about creation, man. So I think that's why I make music, because it's like, here I am, an individual, 1 out of 8 billion on this planet, and I could take my experiences and put them onto a page, onto a mic that other people can enjoy. Like, it's just a crazy thing to think about, man. It sounds deep, but yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, it's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have plenty of beautiful creations, which we are all having the pleasure of listening to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. What is it about music that stands out most to you? What draws you to it? Especially not just as yourself creating the music, but when you're listening to music. What is it that draws you in? Is it the beat, the lyrics?
I don't know, man. I've always kind of been drawn to music, right? Regardless. Like, in everything I do, I listen to music all the time. Sometimes even just listening to beats. But I think lyrics are very important. I love more than anything when an artist, you can hear how an artist has put themselves onto that track. They've laid it all out in the studio and left nothing to be desired, I think that's amazing. But I think music in general, because even the beats, that's a producer that's taking his time to pour himself out or herself out onto the beats and onto the studio. And yeah, it's all just creation, man. I think it's just crazy. That's kind of what draws me into it, because it's like, dang, somebody made that.
Yeah.
I want to make that, Yeah, it's cool.
And what was a time during your musical career where you like just took a second and you really thought, wow, like we're working with something very magical right now? Just a standout moment.
I think it's certain shows, or maybe like when we did Victoria's Festival, for example. Like, we're doing a festival, like we're like
Crazy.
we're still kids, and I'm leaving the house and I'm like, yo, mom, dad, I'm going to the festival. They're like, oh yeah, we bought tickets to that. I'm like, what? I'm performing there, like that's crazy, a whole festival, like just like me and my friends on stage. And when we're looking out and people are like recording us, want to take pictures of us and stuff, that stuff's cool, but it's like, damn, we created this and we're putting out and people actually like it. Like, imagine what we could do in the future. Like, there's no limit to what we could do.
I'd love to hear about your vision of your dream on stage performance. How would that look like?
I don't know. I think it's about just people, like, when artists like turn down the music completely and you can just hear people just singing out the lyrics and like they're just completely in the zone, That is the craziest thing for me. Like when somebody else, like I said earlier, just people singing back to me my lyrics, it's like, dang, you guys related to it that much, or you liked it that much, like it's in your head, like, and you're singing it with me, like that's just the craziest thing, man.
And when you're creating songs, do you actually play like on the guitar or piano or drums? Like, are you actually like thinking of the lyrics whilst playing an instrument?
Sometimes the process differs. Sometimes I like to just jam. Like, for example, if there's a song I have or beats I'm working on, I might just take out the keyboard or whatever and just jam and see what I can make with it. But as I said, it all just kind of comes naturally. I'm not thinking when I'm doing it like, yeah, let's make this now, let's do this now. It just kind of flows, man, really and truly.
And out of your whole discovery, what would you say is a standout song for yourself that you'd recommend to anyone?
I really like 90s Love, purely because it's a vibey song. Like, when people hear it, it's like the sample, the beat, the lyrics. Like, I wanted to come from a position of like, yes, a love song kind of, but it's like a thug love song, The man them can listen to this song and the girl them can listen to this song, you know what I'm saying? I really do like that song. But at the same time, I think anyone can listen to Blessed as well, because Blessed is like just about being blessed and appreciating where you are. And it's weird when I listen back to it, it's like I don't even sound like that anymore. But I don't know. The song is just universal, man.
How do you think your sound will evolve over the years?
I think my sound already kind of has evolved because I understand music a lot more. And I think it will continue to evolve just purely by understanding more. And it might be that I'm finding other pockets and I'm finding other just styles and flows that just experimenting a bit more, just doing what I want at the end of the day, you know? So that's how it will kind of just change.
And you say, discovering what you like, what you enjoy. Working with a producer, does that kind of change your flow and how you discover new things that you like about a track?
Yeah, definitely. There's sometimes I have like a vision of what I want to do, and then the engineer might be like, nah, try this, try this thing, or let's do this. And I'm like, what, really? And he's like, bro, I'm telling you, you can do it. And I'm like, really? He's like, just do it, let's hear it. And then I'll do it. And I'm like, yeah, I love that, you know? So I think that's why it's important to work with other people and just like connect with other people, because I have all these ideas in my head, but at the end of the day, it's just my head. Somebody else might be able to take my idea and like blow it up times 10, you know?
And have you got any more collaborations in the pipeline? Because you work a lot solo. Yeah. Obviously, we had an incredible feature on the most latest track. But are you thinking about more features in the future, or are you just focused on establishing your own sound first?
I think for the rest of this year, I'm definitely focused on establishing my own sound. I have a lot of artists that I want to work with. I've got a list, especially Portsmouth artists. There's so many artists that I really do actually want to work with, because I think Portsmouth is just, it kind of goes under the radar a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
And I want to be a part of putting that place on the map.
And you will?
Yeah, of course. But yeah, definitely I want to just release a lot more solo, because I do work with people a lot. And I want people to know my sound when it's just me sometimes, you know, and understand me perfectly. And then when I have a feature, they'll be like, yeah, that's the TIWO sound, and he's mixed it well with this other sound, and you know, that's how it goes.
If you could define your sound right now, how would you define it?
You know, people always ask me that, and I'm like, I don't. They're like, what type of music do you make? I'm like, Afro, R&B, hip hop, rap. Like, I don't know what to call it, but I would say it's definitely on that R&B / hip hop rap kind of side. Yeah.
Okay. And I love how you talk about Portsmouth. I love how you big it up and you show appreciation, respect, and love to that place. And true say it's the place that you grew up. What is the importance of putting that place on the map to you?
I think because it's unique. Like, it's me at the end of the day. It's a part of me. Whether I like it or not, I've lived there my whole life, you know. And Portsmouth is interesting because it's such a small place. Like, everyone knows everyone. So when you're doing something like music, it's like, damn, that guy I went to school with is doing music now. Like, or this girl here, she's on TV here or something, like. But we all just support each other, which is great. So I think it's important to just show the place that I came up homage. Like, even if I moved away to a different country tomorrow, that's still where I'm from, you know. And
do you have special musical memories from Portsmouth?
I think a lot of shows. I had a lot of opportunities just from being in Portsmouth and making connections there. But yeah, I think just even the way school nurtured my music and my creation and stuff. So I did like music B-Tech, and my teacher that I had then, she was sick. Like,
yeah,
she let me just experiment, man. So I think Portsmouth in general has been good. It's a good place to find your feet for sure.
Find your feet. Okay. Yeah. And why did you make the move to London? Was it purely just for the networking? Was it wanting to come out of Portsmouth and explore something bigger? I'd love to know.
Yeah, I think the thing is, I think with me, it's good I like to put myself in uncomfortable situations. And I could have graduated. Dangerous. Yeah, I could have graduated and from uni and then gone home and just got a grad job and just work from home, save a lot of money and whatnot. But I wanted to put myself in a situation where I have no choice but to hustle, you know.
Yes.
And coming to London, there's so much. I've already had so many opportunities. I met so many amazing people and learned so much about myself and my music and what I kind of want to do. That I feel like I wouldn't get as much if I was back home, you know. Yeah.
Gotcha. And what kind of connections have you made in London that have benefited you so far?
Yeah, no, I've made great connections. I've been to amazing events. I'm in rooms with people that I'm like, I still listen to your music. I'm like, I'm here. And like, I've met a lot of people's managers and stuff that just give me gems and advice. And I have quite a few friends now in the industry that always give me advice. And it's just cool to like be there and like meet all these people and just understand like, damn, like, I'm actually here right now, you know? Like, it's surreal, man. It's a blessing at the end of the day.
Speaking about dropping gems and giving advice, you're talking to TIWO, little TIWO, ciao TIWO. What advice are you giving that young man?
You know, I actually have a song called Younger Self that's unreleased that I'll release at some point. I don't know when it's
Please, we need it. We're waiting.
I actually don't know when it's coming out. But the song is just straight talking to myself, basically.
Wow.
I think my advice to him would just be, just keep your head straight and keep going. Like, that's it. Don't worry about what if. Don't worry about what if this person thinks what. It doesn't matter. Like, it's your race. Keep going, and everything works out. Literally.
That's so beautiful.
Literally.
Too, you've been genuinely dropping gems on the
Surprised
show.
as well.
And one thing that we do on Quite the Ordinary podcast with Moonlight and West, we ask every artist that comes on to quote one of their favourite lyrics from their whole discovery. So TIWO, have a think. Your favourite quote from your whole discovery. What is it? And when you're ready, we're going to ask producer Nathaniel to pass over the binder and you're going to write it down so it creates a staple in history.
Yeah, I think I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Already?
I think I got it.
Oh my gosh.
I got it. It's kind of like my mantra almost. Like,
your mantra.
I keep it in my head. Every time I kind of doubt it, anything, this thing is in my head, you know?
Okay, do you know what? Don't tell me yet. Write it down and then we're going to hear it.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
I like this book.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Where'd you get a book like this?
I don't know. You have to ask producers.
Anywhere? Literally anywhere? You want me to write it anywhere?
So, yeah, just on that page over there.
This page?
Yeah, just underneath would be beautiful.
I don't have good handwriting. So.
That's all right.
You want me to write and then tell you, right?
Yes, please.
Cool. My quote that I decided to write was, "If not me, then who will it be?"
Ooh!
Simple.
If not me, then who will it be? Wow. TIWO, we got to show the people then. Hold on.
Yeah, that was on my first song, Blessed. So, and that's kind of something that I just keep with me all the time. Like, if not me, then who will it be? Simple.
If not me, then who will it be? Wow, TIWO, that is a powerful quote, yeah? That is so simple, but so meaningful. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on Quite the Ordinary
Thank you for
podcast with
having me.
Moonlight West.
I've enjoyed it.
Me too. It's been a pleasure. We've learned a lot about you.
100.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.